It's the halfway point of the Xerox Saab Pro Series, and there's a heated battle for the championship. Sweden's Robert Amron has 2 victories and leads the points chase. Alex Padilla has yet to win a race this season, but consistent finishes have him in the number 2 spot. And rookie Ashton Lewis has a victory to his credit and challenges from the 3rd position as the Xerox Saab Series comes to New England and New Hampshire International Speedway. ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speed World. With the lovely rolling hillsides of New England in the background, we welcome you to New Hampshire International Speedway in Loudon for today's 6th round of the 1992 Xerox Saab Championship Series, the Right Aid Challenge. Hello and welcome. I'm Gary Gerald. There's a special air of anticipation today because for the first time in the 7-year history of this series, drivers who are accustomed to running only on road courses and street circuits now confront a 1-mile oval. With us, as usual, our driving analyst, Derek Daly. This is a handful for these guys who are not accustomed at all to just turning left.
It really is. High-speed ovals demands a different technique. One of the things they need is practice time. That's one of the things they didn't have because of the washout of rain yesterday all day Saturday. So now anybody with a little bit of oval track experience will have a big advantage here.
And it's somewhat ironic that one of the men who has the most oval track experience is the youngest competitor in the field. He starts in the front row, and he's alongside our broadcast colleague, Jan Beekes.
Well, Gary, his name is Paige Jones, and he is up here on the front row. Outside of the front row, the man with all the oval track experience. Paige, you must feel right at home here on the ovals.
Yeah, I'm definitely real comfortable with the oval. The cars are really good here. They're really stable cars to drive. And not quite where we wanted to be on the front row, but we're on the front row, and that's what counts right now.
All right, we wish you well. Gary?
Well, the cars are getting ready to fire. They'll be rolling, and we'll get ready for a start of this 50-lap competition here. As the first time in history, the cars of the Xerox Saab Pro Series take to an oval. Let's quickly take a look at the starting lineup for this event. Diego Guzman from Colombia on the pole with Paige Jones, rookie Ashton Lewis, and Craig Hall in the 2nd row. We drop back to row 3. Amron and Padillo. Amron the points leader this year. Leo Parente, Taylor Well in the 4th row. They're coming toward the 4th turn. We anticipate we'll be getting a start now as we look for the green flag. The field forming up nicely. The first time for these drivers to be on an oval, and they have green. And immediately jumping into the lead is Paige Jones in car number 71. But look at them fan out now for position as they dive into that perilous first turn.
And it was not the most orderly start I've ever seen, but Paige Jones knew exactly what he needed to do. He was on the high side. He was a good 2 or 3 car lengths ahead leading into the first corner. And now look, nicely clear of Craig Hall.
Man who celebrated a birthday just this week, now out in front. He has turned 20 years of age, no longer a teenager, but he leads the field, and they string out nicely. A bit of a traffic jam behind Jones, but Paige has managed to open up several car lengths now as he bolts to the early lead.
And these cars are so evenly matched. That's why we will see traffic jams all day here. But Paige Jones, a comfortable leader, exiting turn 1 and 2. But the battle is going on behind him for 2nd place. Look at Guzman on the outside, trying to take that position from Craig Hall. But look at Craig Hall bobble and weave. Guzman tries to make it stick on the outside.
And look at that side-by-side racing. Guzman and Hall having quite a tussle there for the 2nd spot. And the Colombian Guzman, for the moment, has the 2nd position. But how long will it last as they move now toward that first turn once again?
And Hall came down the inside, had a little peep down the inside. But look at Ashton Lewis now. Now he's about to make an attack on Craig Hall.
We watch them now battle for positions. Guzman gets a bit of breathing room. Now the fight is for 3rd place. Here's Ashton Lewis on the inside in the 27. And look at those tires wiggle back and forth. They almost made contact, but they're still clean as they come by once again.
You can hear the tires squeal as these cars try to get away from the drivers. Tires squealing into turns 3 and 4. Those Goodyears. Remember, Goodyear actually made, oh, look at this side-by-side stuff again with Hall and Ashton Lewis. Goodyear actually made a new tire for the Barber Saabs, or the Xerox Saabs. I keep calling it Barber Saab. It is Xerox Saab now. Goodyear came up with a new tire, 4-ply, with a harder compound for this oval track racing.
And they're putting that compound to a stern test right now as these two drivers, Hall and Lewis, swap positions back and forth. First one, then the other. At the moment, it's Lewis back in the number 3 position and Hall right there as they chap at each other.
And now Lewis comes down to the inside, nice and tight. Craig Hall didn't have a chance to make a pass. And now look at Ashton Lewis, pulls out about 6 or 7 car lengths.
Let's get a report now from the pits on these identically prepared single-seaters. Let's go to Jan Beekes.
That's right, Gary. You're talking about those tires and that harder compound. It's actually the Talladega compound that they're using on these Goodyears. Now, as far as the setup of the car, these cars in a week and a half will be in Laguna Seca. They normally race on road circuits. Very few changes like most teams would do on ovals. They didn't tip the car. They didn't do all the major changes like different springs on one side to another. They basically have kind of a road circuit setup, but they've got very slight changes to make them as competitive as they can.
History in the process today here at New Hampshire International Speedway, as for the first time the drivers of the Xerox Saab Pro Series compete on an oval. You'd look at the top 10. Today's Speed World coverage of the Right Aid Challenge from Loudon, New Hampshire is brought to you by Xerox Anti-Freeze Coolant. The temperature never drops below Xerox. By Saab. We don't make compromises, we make Saabs. And by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Down into that first turn, traffic back in the pack, dicing and fighting for positions. Paige Jones comfortably out in front. And we're looking now as this field tries to battle for positions and just a little bit of a juggling going on. Season point leader Bob Amron in car number 70 battling for a spot. And let's see if we can pick up who is challenging right behind him.
That's Craig Hall. He started in 4th place. He moved up and now he's slowly losing positions. So Robert Amron, we saw him win 2 races earlier on this year at Miami and then again at Sebring, trying to continue his championship challenge. Currently running in a good 4th place.
Followed those 2 wins with a pair of 2nd place finishes at Road Atlanta and Lime Rock. Slipped to 6th on the streets at New Orleans. That was a race where Paige Jones was the winner. Jones getting his first victory after he really knocked on the door repeatedly last season, but he finally broke through at New Orleans, and here he is very much in command of this race as he comes down the long front straightaway across the start-finish line.
Comfortable lead for Paige Jones, but look what's going on behind that. Guzman in the yellow car, backed by Colombiana, which is a soft drink out of Colombia, and that's Ashton Lewis right behind him. And now Alex Padilla. We are in car with Alex Padilla. You'll notice the numbers and letters on his helmet. What MDC stands for Metro Detention Center. 5N is his dad's number at the Metro Detention Center. His dad definitely had a miscommunication with the federal government and is spending some time there, but he is Alex's biggest fan, and I'm sure he's cheering what's going on right now because Alex Padilla running in a very good 6th place.
Padilla has done a super job this year. He is 2nd in points coming in, and he's been a modicum of consistency with 3rd place finishes in the last 3 events. We continue to watch the competition. Jones out in front. Guzman holding on to 2nd place, challenged by Ashton Lewis. As we go down to the pits, Jan Beekes talking with the man who's helped set up these race cars.
That's right, Gary. Dorsey Schroeder is not only a top driver, he's in the pace car right now waiting to possibly pace the field, but you drove these cars and set them up here.
Yeah, you know, these cars surprised everybody a lot. Goodyear designed us a new tire. Came out, Robbie Buell and myself, to do some 600 miles of testing here. Car loves the oval. It's a really nice car here, and it's shown. We haven't spun, knock on wood, we haven't spun a car in any session, and these guys are really liking the oval.
Thank you.
Dorsey Schrader down on the pits, a very personable and a very talented race driver as we go back on board with Padilla. But here's the battle, and Lewis down on the inside attacking once again. He's trying to get that number 2 spot, and now he's made the pass. Ashton Lewis in number 27 has moved to 2nd.
And he does make it. That was under braking in for turn 1. He slides down the inside. Guzman realized that the corner was gone. We see Guzman bob and weave a little bit up at turn 3. But Ashton Lewis has spent 5 laps trying to get by Guzman. This is what happened. Now look at Guzman. He moves to the middle of the road to make things difficult, tightens things up a little bit. Guzman turns down. Right there he realizes the corner's already gone, and Lewis keeps his foot into it. Pulls alongside. And that's it. It's now over. Lewis has the position.
And I guess we can't stress enough that you have to keep in mind that for the most part, these are drivers who battle in their events season after season on street circuits, on road courses. They're not used to the oval configuration, and when it gets that close wheel to wheel, it can be very, very touchy.
That's Alex Padilla. We were just inside with him following Dean Hall. But now look at Paige Jones. Does not have a comfortable lead now over Ashton Lewis, who's chasing down the most experienced man in this field on oval tracks. That's Paige Jones.
Indeed, it is the smallest margin that he has enjoyed since the green flag. Ashton Lewis, who's third in points, who won at Lime Rock, now making his presence felt on the oval. Let's take a look at your leaders now as they continue to move around this 1 mile oval. Jones, Lewis, Guzman, Amron, and Hall, the top 5. Ashton Lewis pokes his nose down inside momentarily as he closes to within 3 car lengths of the leader, Paige Jones. Jones has led from the opening green flag, but for the first time this afternoon, he is now under pressure here at New Hampshire International Speedway. And the man who is pressuring him, another of the youngest drivers in the field, 20-year-old rookie Ashton Lewis, who won at Lime Rock, and right now says he'd like to get another win this year. It would appear, Derek, that he's got a finely balanced race car that's really working well.
And without a doubt, Ashton Lewis has got a good car and he's driving it very, very well. Paige Jones does have the advantage because he is in the lead. Jones thought that he could handle traffic possibly better because of his oval track experience. Well, I'm sure Ashton Lewis hopes that the traffic is what will slow down Paige Jones. And now they're going to lap Saeed Gazar. They go inside him. Both are clear. You can still hear those tires squeal, but these cars still handle very, very well on this oval track.
They made that pass in traffic flawlessly. Gazar from Saudi Arabia, one of the international drivers in the field. That we have drivers competing from Italy, Colombia, Finland, Mexico, Sweden, as well as Saudi Arabia and the United States. It's a great field competing here on the mile. And look at now as Lewis ducks outside, then tucks right back in behind Paige Jones. Jones definitely now feeling a little pressure. His mirrors filled up by Ashton Lewis's number 27 car.
And the reason there are so many drivers from all over the world that come to compete in this series, where can you go racing for $7,200 and stand to win $10,000 if you win? This Xerox Saab series is financially tremendous for young up-and-coming drivers.
And if you win the season championship, you get a $100,000 General Rent-A-Car Pace Setter Award for career enhancement. Let's go back to the pits once again. And Jan Bikus.
Well, we talked about the changes or lack thereof that you can do on these spec cars. But in the case of the tires, they have found out you can do something special with stagger. Let's make an example of stagger. What we have here is we have a cup that is larger on one side than the other, just like an outside tire and inside tire. When you roll this, it will roll in a circular fashion. That's exactly what the drivers have figured out they can do with these tires. Pump them up, leave them out in the sun. They get a larger right rear tire than a left rear tire. Have found a way to get around them, not having changes being able to be made on these Barber Saab cars. Now they've learned about stagger.
All right, thank you, Jan. And we watch that being put to work in practical application on the racetrack. And now a car in between, a lapped car. That's number 13, Bud Clark, the Florida veteran driver, gives way now, and Lewis gets back clearly within contact of the leader, Paige Jones. That's Lewis that we see on the screen right there, number 27. And here, number 71 is the leader. He's been there from the opening green flag. Paige Jones from Southern California, the son of famous open-wheel driver and former Indy 500 winner, of course, Parnelli George.
And both of these drivers have won in the past. Paige Jones won the New Orleans race, and Ashton Lewis was got a victory at Lime Rock. Ashton Lewis was a product of the Barber Saab, or the Skip Barber Formula Ford series. So the staircase of talent that Skip Barber uses working very well for these young up-and-coming drivers.
You get a look at the running order as we hit the halfway point of this competition. Through that first half of the race, this is the man who's had the lead. But Ashton Lewis, who worked his way through traffic, actually started from the second row, was able to close in and challenge. He was chopping within 2 or 3 car lengths, but now it has kind of settled back into about a 4 or 5 car length distance. Behind them, Guzman is third, points leader Amron fourth, and Craig Hall rounds out the top 5. On the front straightaway, the race for third place. Robert Amron has just taken over third in the blue car from Diego Guzman. Guzman now running fourth, but trying to get back and regain that position. Guzman started from the pole, but he slipped back a couple of spots. Paige Jones continues to have the lead, but now Robert Amron, who started fifth, has moved up to third. Let's go once again to Jan Bikus in the pits.
Well, the car that Robert Amron is driving is a different car for him. In other words, he had a crash at the previous race. They didn't have a chance to get that car just as they wanted it. So it's an unfamiliar car for him, but obviously he's starting to get the feel for that now.
And down into the first turn, we have a challenge for the lead once again, and hanging on is Paige Jones as they work their way through traffic. And look at this traffic jam, Derek, on the back straightaway.
Absolute traffic jam. Look at Lewis. He tries to come down the inside. Paige Jones, see what he's trying to do. He moves down to the inside, blocks the maneuver. But traffic, as we've seen in the past, can change the complexion of one of these oval track races. But Paige Jones just about hanging on. But look at Ashton Lewis again down the inside.
All over the backside. He ducks to the inside. Jones takes a higher line as he sets up into the corner. Two of the youngest drivers in the field, and they're having a real battle here for the championship in this first oval race in the 7-year history of this series at New Hampshire International Speedway. On the back straightaway, another challenge for leader Paige Jones. Ashton Lewis, who's been hammering away, trying to find the right moment, the right opportunity. No lap traffic to take advantage of now. He had closed to within a couple of car lengths, and Jones now leading them onto the straightaway once again as they flash through underneath the starter's stand. That's the separation. This is the battle right here. These two young drivers going at it. Jones has been our leader from the opening green. Lewis has closed up the challenge, but he hasn't been able to get alongside just yet.
And Paige Jones missed the first practice session here on Friday. Everybody thought, what's Paige at? Does he know something we don't know? Is he saving his tires? Began to out-psych everybody, and all it was his hotel forgot to give him his wake-up call.
How to be a successful race car driver. One of those little tips. Here's Lewis taking a good look down inside once again, but just unable. These cars are so beautifully prepared, and it's evidenced by the fact that in the 5 previous races this season, the largest, the biggest margin of victory under 4 seconds. And then on the streets of New Orleans in the last race, it was 1.19 seconds that separated first and second. Right now, all that separates first and second is about 2 car lengths.
We're back inside with Alex Padilla, currently running in 6th place, and that's Craig Hall just ahead of him. Padilla trying to get by Craig Hall almost all afternoon here. We see him now move to the high side. Very little steering movement here by Alex Padilla, one of the good young drivers in this Barber Saab series. Now he ducks down to the inside. That's actually one of the lapped cars that he's just putting a lap on. Craig Hall is in fact just up the road ahead of him. But Alex Padilla, you saw a lot of in-car camera with him on the last race at New Orleans when he finished a fine 3rd place on the podium again. But he's not going to be on the podium today. This is turns 3 and 4. See the way he comes down to the low side, gets back on the power and drifts right high to the outside wall.
Alex Padilla, an outstanding young driver. He continues to work back at mid-pack, and we watch again the leaders, and you get the running order as we move toward the final stages of this competition on the mile oval in New Hampshire. Paige Jones continuing to set the pace. He broke through with the first victory in his young racing career in this series after so many strong finishes last year that back put him 4th in points. He broke through at New Orleans in the last race. He's trying to make it 2 in a row. But Ashton Lewis, of course, has got other things on his mind. After he won at Lime Rock, he was 4th at New Orleans. He's 2nd right now, a solid and contending 2nd.
And a great battle here for the lead. Remember, these are stock Saab 900 series production-based turbocharged engines. 2 liters in size, about 225 brake horsepower. They only carry 12 gallons of fuel. Therefore, a 30-minute race is about all they can do. But mind you, for these new young drivers, 30 minutes of hard racing is all they can stand to.
And for those who may not be familiar with these cars, we should point out they are flat-bottom race cars. They weigh about 1,300 pounds with that 5-speed transmission, and it provides great competition wherever they compete.
Paige Jones won last weekend in Wisconsin at a midget race, so he's coming off a good success. We're back inside with Alex Padilla. Now he's stuck in traffic. He is so frustrated.
Yes.
He's trying to catch Craig Hall, yet he's stuck in a traffic jam here. They won't move over and let him through. Now he goes around the high side. This is a Michael Andretti style move. very difficult. But now look what happened. He lost a position to Leo Parente.
Parente was able to slide through when he got up there in the gray a little bit high, and so Alex, in the frustration, lost the position.
Sheer frustration from a driver's point of view. You spend all day trying to catch a position. You get caught in a traffic jam. Oh, corrections there coming off turn 2. Keep that car in check. But that white car ahead of him, that is for a position. That is Leo Parente in the General Rent-A-Car sponsored car.
3 laps to go and a handful of steering wheel for Alex Padilla as he tries to attack and get that spot back.
Don't mind your frustration, Alex. Keep the job at hand in mind. Concentrate very hard and do the best you can to see now can you catch Parente.
That was a battle for 6th. Here's the battle for the lead. It's Paige Jones on the left of the screen, and it's Ashton Lewis who continues to run 2nd. They've been in this position, it seems like, forever. After the early dominance, we're down now to just 2 laps to go. The early dominance belongs to Jones, but right now, Lewis running out of time, trying to close it, and there's traffic in front. It may afford another opportunity.
Saeed Ghazar from Saudi Arabia. That's the driver just in front of them. Paige Jones comes down to the inside. He needs to make the move before turn 3, and he does make it safely. But now there is more traffic.
And from going inside, he ducks outside and around another car. Lewis is right there as well as the white flag comes out, and it's just 1 mile to the checkered flag. 1 mile for Paige Jones to get his 2nd consecutive victory in this Xerox Saab Pro Series.
Backed by American equipment and American racing wheels. Now he has 6 car lengths over Ashton Lewis. Lewis is not close enough now to mount a challenge because traffic allowed Paige Jones to pull just enough clear to be comfortable.
Moving through the final sequence of turns, he'll be headed for a checkered flag very shortly. Paige Jones onto the front straightaway. Ashton Lewis will finish 2nd just by a couple of car lengths. And let's go back and check on that battle between Padilla and Parente as they were fighting for 6th. Amron comes home 3rd. And look at this now. Here's Padilla in the orange car trying to go outside. Parente ducks down on the inside, crosses the stripe. Leo Parente hangs on to that spot. And all Alex Padilla can do is bang that wheel in frustration after having lost the position back in traffic just a couple of laps ago. So Paige Jones begins to limber up a bit in the cockpit, stretch those tensed muscles as the young man who celebrated a birthday early in the week, no longer a teenager, now getting his 2nd consecutive victory in the Xerox Saab Pro Series. Lewis, who dogged him to the end, finishes 2nd. Amron 3rd. Guzman, who started on the pole, 4th. And Craig Hall with a solid drive for the number 5 spot. Today's Speed World coverage of the Rite Aid Challenge from Loudon, New Hampshire has been brought to you by Xerox Antifreeze Coolant. The temperature never drops below Xerox. And by Saab. We don't make compromises. We make Saab. Well, Paige Jones is the winner here at New Hampshire International Speedway, and right now Jan Beekes is alongside.
Well, Gary, it's another page in the record books for Paige Jones. You love these oval tracks. You had a great run. What was it like out there? You had some pressure from Ashton.
Yeah, definitely. I knew lap traffic was going to be a key player, and I just wanted to make sure I had to run some risky moves and, you know, just getting into the corner down there because I knew if I had to wait on through the corner and wait to get him off the onto the straightaway, Ashton would carry more momentum and get me down the straightaway. He almost did it once. Just the American Racing Kendall Bosch car was running excellent, and you know, just my crew, Jeff did a great job, and Simpson Race Products and CalGuard all did a great job for me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Gary?
So Paige Jones will jump up further in the point standings with his 2nd consecutive win. Lewis is 2nd. Amron is 3rd. Guzman 4th. Craig Hall is 5th. Let's run through the top 10. Parente, Padilla, Weld, Adams, and Labo round out the top 10. For the first time on an oval, they conducted themselves very well, Derek.
They did. I think Paige Jones was the firm favorite when he came in here, but Ashton Lewis showed that he can run on an oval just as well as anybody.
So the Rite Aid Challenge at New Hampshire International Speedway is history, and Paige Jones gets his 2nd win of the season. For Jan Beekes and Derek Daly, I'm Gary Gerald. So long from New England.